Sarbanes-Oxley, safe harbor regulations. There's actually a real raft of regulations these days that are requiring businesses more and more to use off-site solutions that include up to 7 years worth of versioning and are fully secured with private key encryption. So regulatory compliance is a big source of sales for our partners. Okay. So turning for a moment to, we've got a few other technical questions which we'll get to at the end of the presentation. Turning to the partnership model, because I'm dallying a little bit. How do we partner with people like yourselves? Well, we've seen this slide before. The goal is to take our technology, repurpose it and rebrand it, then come up with different go-to-market strategies, and that's both marketing and pricing. So one of the big things we work with our partners to do is understand how they are going to go to market and price this solution. And then really what we're about and what our account management team is about is making certain that you're driving high-margin incremental revenue, because we don't succeed with you unless you continue to work with us and continue to consume more and more and more space on our grid. Why partner with SOS? Well, for one thing, our product and our technology. We're the clear technology leader in the small business space. Secondly, our delivery and support infrastructure, we believe, is second to none. We've got the largest data center grid of any of our competitors. We've got 10 data centers worldwide. And then, but it's not just that. It's really our care organization. So we've got 50 people who work in support, and that covers a lot of things from training on sales and marketing training, technical training, customer support, technical support, sales support, marketing support, all of these elements here around what I call our service wheel, or our 360-degree partner solution. So we really believe we're a market leader in every single one of these items. We've got extremely powerful billing solutions with APIs and shopping carts, so that depending upon what your needs are and how you currently sell and bill to your clients, we've got a solution that's going to plug in with that. We've got deep marketing resources that we bring to bear, so we rebrand marketing materials. We can co-develop marketing materials with you to make certain that you've got marketing materials that target your customers. We've got 10 people, so we actually talked about this earlier, we've got 10 people in our design department alone who work on doing rebranded marketing materials. And one of the things you can do is if you call up and talk to one of our sales associates here, they will actually give you a mock-up of what your online backup product would look like. No charge, really just call up and say, hey, look, I'd like to know what my online backup product could look like. What could a rebrand look like? And they'll get that to you within a couple of days. Then I'll talk more about our sales and training and technical support solutions in a moment. But at the end of the day, the most important reason you work with SOS is simply the margin we can help you deliver on a recurring revenue stream. So 60% gross margin is not abnormal at all from our partners. Who's got a comment from Thomas Dillon saying that his mock-up is great. So anybody on the call who doesn't know what a mock-up is from us, please call in and ask for one. And a mock-up is really just us having a first pass at designing what your product could look like. All right, and then a big part of why you partner with SOS is really what we can help you do when it comes to brand building and increased customer retention. Because so much of our focus is on rebranding everything we have, so that we can, for example, do a webinar like this on your behalf, or actually have one of our PDT members do a webinar for all of your customers in your name. That's just one example of the resources we can bring to bear in a rebranded way. So our sales reps will actually work with you and sell to your customers in your name. So we really focus on building our partners' brands and helping our partners retain customers. It's about customer acquisition as well, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Customer retention is really bang on in terms of our focus and working with partners. Seth Shapiro has also said that I have received my mock-up. They really do a great job. Great. Thanks, Seth. It's great feedback. So hopefully that'll encourage other people on the line to call in and get their mock-ups. So we've covered this. This is just talking about the fact that we build a platform. In terms of, so who partners with SOS? This is where I wanted to get to. Steve Brown asked, who are your CS reps? I'm not sure what CS stands for. Steve, customer service reps. We've got sales and sales engineering support here in America, and we've got people in Australia and in India. So depending upon what your need is, you might be served by one of those 3 different locations. So who partners with SOS? VARs, MSPs, computer repair shops, data recovery specialists, ISPs, ISVs. These are the major categories of companies that partner with us. But putting it more generically, frankly, it's anybody who is selling solutions into these business needs or these vertical markets. So obviously people who are selling DR and archiving solutions, online backup's a good fit for, and then some of these things we've already talked about. So selling into laptop fleets is a big market for online backup. Branch offices, backing up branch offices is a big market for online backup. Email app server and database server backup, so we talked about servers a moment ago. And then these other aspects to the sale I was talking about a moment ago, about remote data access and mobile data access. These are actually big attraction points for customers when they're evaluating online backup solutions and why they would go with you. In terms of vertical markets, there are very rich vertical markets in these industries here, and it's often because, frankly, these types of businesses are subject to regulatory requirements. So in the financial services sector, you've got SARBOX. In the medical sector, you've got HIPAA. In the legal sector, you've got ABA regulations. Government, there's often, in fact, legislation that, or regulation that requires local and state government to use this type of technology, and similarly in higher education. So these are very rich verticals. Anybody on the line who sells into these vertical markets, it's almost guaranteed that you've actually got latent demand among your customers for online backup that you may not even be aware of. Okay, so just looking at some examples of some partners who've been successful with this. This case study comes from a partner who was already a managed service provider. So this, they were serving small business and K through 12, so some small business consumer mixed in there. They looked to add online backup with us to firstly add an additional revenue stream through a new business unit that they were launching, particularly focused on data services. They also used it for customer acquisition. So this wasn't just about customer retention or selling additional services to existing customers. This was about actually acquiring new customers as well. Why did they choose SOS? So our very strong branding and marketing solutions, our ability to help them with desktop awareness and brand building with their customers, and then the power of our technology. So the ability of our technology to support a lot of flexible configurable deployments, local backup, continuous data protection, the unlimited versioning, the unlimited archiving I talked about, all very important. So this partner has been very successful within 60 days, sold through the whole purchase amount he'd bought from us on our grid, and we're now working with them to design a bigger deployment and go after more of his customers. Another example, it's representative, kind of on a smaller scale, a computer repair shop who wanted to go from just doing break-fix solutions with a small customer base to actually becoming a managed service provider, and actually used online backup to become a managed service provider. This was their step and their transition point. So it was their first managed service offering, and they've been quite successful with it. In fact, because they adopted online backup through SOS, they've won 3 new large clients, in particular one client with 100 workstations that they're now doing full support and management on, and they won that account because they'd rolled online backup in, and in fact it was a government account, so talking earlier, it was a local government account that they'd won there. So for anybody who's on the line who's evaluating becoming a managed service provider and looking for an easy solution to bring to market, online backup's a terrific first offering to get into that new service space with ongoing, recurring, high-margin revenue. Okay, so this is a third example partner, and this actually looks at some of the economics involved. So this particular partner, we use this as an example because he's been making 82% gross margin, which is just a fantastic success for that partner. So this particular partner had small business customers, both large and large, medium, and small, and it took multiple pricing packages. So what I mean by that is he didn't just go to market with one price point or one price structure. So he had different offerings. He sold it so that his customers could buy it from him on a per gigabyte basis. He also sold it on just a purely managed basis. So he had a lot of success with some of his larger customers just selling it as saying, listen, for $500, I will make certain your entire business is backed up. I'll take care of it. You don't need to worry any of the details. It's a fully managed solution. It's going to be monitored. If there are any issues, we're going to escalate. We're going to resolve those issues ourselves, etc. So as part of that pitch, what's useful about that pitch is it de-emphasizes your client's focus on the per gigabyte rate, and they actually then start to buy a total solution from your business. So in this case, the partner sold, you can see the flat fee structures as well as the per gigabyte structures. So for his larger clients, he sold them a solution that was $500 a month to back up all their data. And he went out with these two flat fee structures, a $500 per month package and a $750 per month package. And then internally, he figured out how much space he needed to allocate in our cloud to do that, but he didn't sell it that way, which is, I think, quite important. And then he had success. He managed to get, I think it's now more like 20 of his medium customers to come on board and a few smaller clients. But overall, his backup revenue now on a monthly basis is nearly $6,000 a month that he's earning from online backup, so $70,000 a year on an annualized basis. And his margin on that's $58,000, which is fantastically rich margin. So a few things to note here. Firstly, there are many ways you can take this to market with your customers. Secondly, from a price point standpoint, there is no standard price point. This is one of the biggest areas of confusion and misunderstanding for partners who come and work with us, is that they think that the question becomes, well, what price do I sell this at? And there really is not a good answer to that question, because the market's extremely elastic. You've got people selling online backup solutions for $100 a gigabyte a year. You've got people selling them for $12. So depending upon your customer base, we see a lot of partners succeed at the $2 per gigabyte per month mark, so $24 per year. Your cost with us is, a fifth of that roughly. So in that kind of scenario, your margin would be 60 to 70%. Just a reminder, Dave, yep, there'll be a video sent out to you after the webinar with the presentation, and if you're looking to grab any of the particular slides, you talk to one of our partner specialists here in LA, and they can get you whatever marketing material you need. And that's, Lynn makes a really good point, and this point down at the bottom here. The number one takeaway from this webinar, apart from maybe calling in to get a mock-up and maybe to win an iPad, which I'm sure some people are interested in, is to get an ROI model done up. This isn't for everybody. I'll say that off the bat. But for some people, there is a lot of money to be made, and it's a perfect fit for their existing businesses, something they can get into extremely inexpensively and make very rich margin. So as a standard part of, when you talk to an SOS partner specialist, they want to do three things. Firstly, they want to understand your business. Secondly, they want to mock up the product to show you what it would look like from a branding and marketing standpoint. That actually includes giving you some sample marketing material already mocked up, which frankly you could then distribute to your clients to help you start building a pipeline. And you can get that today. So by the, you can request that today and have it by the end, probably Monday. Which means starting Monday, you'd actually be in a position to start drumming up interest among your client base. But then the third and most important thing is to get an ROI model built for you. Whether you do business with us or not, what we believe is vital is for you to have a very clear-eyed understanding of the business opportunity in front of you when it comes to online backup. So our specialists work with you to build an ROI model that looks like this one to help you understand, okay, what kind of volume can you push, what kind of margin can you earn, how would you price this through to your customers, is it best to go for block pricing like some of these first few examples where it's a certain amount for an entire business, is it better to go on a per gigabyte basis, how many accounts could you move, and what kind of margin can you earn at different points. And that's another really important point. Depending upon which horizontal you're selling into, consumer, small business, or enterprise, there's very different margin and very different pricing strategies, and depending on which vertical you're selling into. So if you're selling into, for example, the healthcare market, we have partners who are successfully selling at more than $100 per gigabyte per year. So extremely high margin product because their buy rate from us doesn't change. So again, it really does depend on the horizontal or the vertical. Now, we don't expect you to get all that right. That's what we're here for. That's why we've got our specialist team here, and that's all they do all day long is work with VARs, MSPs, ISPs, ISVs to figure out what's the best go-to-market strategy for your customer base.